Good morning, and welcome to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you to WHTC's Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, June 2nd. I'm Gary Stevens. We'll have a brief sliver of open line after the 11 o'clock news. It's the first Tuesday of the month, so we feel the zeal and spotlight Zeeland on WHTC's Talk of the Town. The Master Gardener Jan Musen from the Brine Seed will be joining us a little after the 10 o'clock news block, and we'll also have Patty Vandenberg in less than an hour with what's new around Helen. But in our first half hour, we chat with Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra at the other end of our Zoom connection. Kevin, good morning and welcome back to Talk of the Town.
Good morning, Gary. It's been a while since I've seen you.
It has been a while, and I expressed the sentiments of not only here in the studio, but many in the community over your family's loss, and that's part of the reason why it's been a couple of months. But Tim Klunder has done a very fine job, the city manager in your step. We're glad to have you back chatting with us.
Well, thank you, Gary. I was a little worried that I was going to get fired and Tim was going to take over, but he did a good job while I was gone.
Of course, as has been mentioned by previous mayors in the past, city managers in a council manager format work at the pleasure of council members. So I don't think that the tables would not have been turned in that situation.
That's true. I think he's more than happy that I took over again.
Appreciate it. Now, if you have a question about what's going on in Zeeland, Mayor Kevin Klynstra would be happy to answer it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Before we talk about some of the immediate things that are in front of the city council, I just want to get your thoughts about the changing of the city's slogan during this COVID-19 situation. I thought it was kind of a very nice way of doing it. Instead of feel the zeal, it was heal, H-E-A-L. The zeal, and I thought that was a good way of sort of changing the spin on the city's moniker or the slogan for a little while.
Yeah, and we have to thank Abby DeRue and Carrie Van Dorp for that. They're always thinking on how to promote Zeeland, and they came up with the Heal the Zeal, and it caught on really fast, and they got some stickers, heart stickers that you could put in your store windows. So those were displayed around town and at City Hall and at residences, and it worked really well.
Now, as we are moving forward in the situation involving COVID-19 and the loosening of some of the safer at home executive order restrictions that was lifted just before council met last night. Instead of meeting in chambers, it was at the Howard Miller Community Center. And certainly it was nice to have the members back in one place instead of just everybody meeting via the virtual situation that's been the case, unfortunately, for the last few weeks.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I don't mind Zoom calls, but I definitely like to meet in person a lot better, and it went well last night. We had our 6-foot distancing, and it was no problem.
Any thoughts about the fact if once we move forward along the lines of as we get herd immunity from this and start having some of the regular features, any thoughts about maybe making the Zeeland City Council meetings, when they are meeting in person, available as a stream on a regular basis? Because part of the nice things about the social media, or shall we say the online streaming meetings, is the fact that the public can be able to see it where they are and not have to make the trip to City Hall to be there in person.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. It would just be a matter of logistics on how we would do it and what kind of cameras we would need. And so, yeah, it might be a possibility in the future.
Now, if you have a question for Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra, he'll be happy to answer it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Kevin, we had a caller on Talk of the Town yesterday discussing, or shall we say, proposing in the city of Holland to block off 8th Street downtown or part of 8th Street downtown to allow businesses, especially restaurants, that would be under restrictions when they do reopen about capacity inside, to allow them to maybe extend outward a little further, maybe into the parking areas, so that they can be able to accommodate patrons out of doors. Other communities are considering as well. And it looks like, based on the agenda from last night's meeting, Kevin, that's been an idea that's being kicked around in the city of Zeeland.
Yes, we discussed that at length last night, and Abby DeRue presented it to us, and she had sent out a survey to SARB, our downtown business association, and they had said they would like to see, anything that would help the restaurants, especially, and if that meant letting them use parking spaces out in front of their stores, or extending it a little bit farther into the sidewalk, or to have a designated area where they could all sit and be served, or people could bring their stuff to and eat. So lots of different possibilities, but we left it at that they could, that the city staff could decide what would be the best without having coming back to city council. But all city council, it was unanimous that said we would like to help any way possible, and maybe not closing Main Street yet. That might be one of the drawbacks. But if they would like to use the back of their building, because some of the buildings have quite a big area in the back where they could have seating, and or in the front, or even maybe go into the parking spaces. That would be up to them, and then they could propose what they would like to city staff.
Now, some of the logistics, knowing Zeeland as I do, about access to the downtown area and allowing traffic to be able to flow through. Obviously, Washington Avenue, for traffic that needs to get through the downtown area, is still the best way of doing it. But it looks as if the two biggest problems would be access along Main Street, but also access to parking on the back, because it is somewhat limited, and you don't want to get to the situation where we have people parking in the residential areas in order to try to get to the downtown retail area.
Right, and that was a concern too, that the stores other than the restaurants, that we would hate to take parking away from them, and but if they did go into the parking area, they would have to block it off and make sure they were separated from the traffic. They just couldn't put a table in a parking space and let it be like that. But they would have to block it off and make sure it was safe from traffic, and probably talk to their neighbors on either side of them to see if it would bother them. And maybe even it was brought up last night that they could expand into their neighbors' frontage if it wasn't a problem for them. So lots of possibilities. But like you said, I mean, I talked to Tim Klunder yesterday morning about this, and I said, me personally, I don't know if I'd want to sit in a parking space close to the traffic. It might just take a little bit of the ambiance away of going out to eat, but maybe some people would like it. I don't know, but like we said, we would like to help the restaurants as much as possible. They've had a long break here where their business has been down a lot, and some of them haven't been open at all. So, anything we can do to help would be a positive.
395-1450. If you have a question for Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra, he'll be happy to answer it about the city of Zeeland at 395-1450. I want to draw an image that I saw from the agenda for the city of Saugatuck about this matter last month, where one of the store owners included in the packet, the agenda packet, some images of a proposed seating area outside of an establishment with some a special setup so that it would be blocked off and not just actually putting just tables and chairs out, but it would be sort of like a portable patio put out in front. Was that those types of images brought before council to sort of show what it could be looking like?
No, we didn't have anything like that. I'd be interested to see that, how that would look in how they propose it in Saugatuck.
Yeah, that's, this was an image of a company that would provide that for it. It was not the exact situation that would be in, well, Saugatuck's got other problems right now in terms of flooding downtown, but that's another story altogether.
Yeah.
I do need to address this with you, Kevin, and certainly municipal officials nationwide are dealing with what would happen if people wanted to protest the death of George Floyd in their communities. Some have had very good success working with their community partners, allowing peaceful protest. Others, unfortunately, have had issues. Might not be an issue, quote unquote, for Zeeland, but still all municipalities need to sort of address what would happen if somebody wanted to express their opinions in Zeeland, and being able to do so in the right manner so that the opinions are expressed, but we don't see any of the problems that have occurred in other larger communities.
Well, actually, we had not a protest, but we had a march of prayer on Sunday evening at 5:30. North Street Church arranged it, and they invited the other churches to go along, and they walked to the police station and stood in front of the police station and did a time of prayer. So I know our police chief rode into town at that time, and he saw a gathering in front of his police station. He got a little worried, but when he came up on it and asked some questions, he found out it was from the churches, and he mentioned, to our city manager, let me tell you again how much I love the city of Zeeland. So, it was I guess you could say it was a type of protest, but it was for a time of prayer.
Yeah, it was something that was, shall we say, it will be overlooked, unfortunately. These peaceful situations and demonstrations, unfortunately, the ones that do get the violence do get the headlines. 395-1450, 395-1450 if you have a question for Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra. Now that the governor has relaxed the safer at home regulations, what does that exactly mean for Zeeland? Certainly, some facilities will open up even more. Others are still, shall we say, restricted. What about some of the municipal facilities, most notably the Howard Miller Community Center? How are we moving forward with that?
Well, the city hall is open now to traffic. Of course, they suggest you wear a mask, and they have a place you can wash your hands. But in the BPW offices also are open to foot traffic. So that has started, and we have, and the city staff have all come back. The ones that were working from home are now working at City Hall again. And I believe our city manager said last night that the library can open by June 12, I believe, or maybe that was the 14th, but probably on a limited basis at first.
Yeah, it'll be a way to get things back up and running in the city of Zeeland in a limited try, but at least, get some semblance of normalcy back in town. And like all communities, we need to get this back. We've been under wraps for too long, and yes, we're trying to do the safe things and the right things, but we're antsy, and the
Right.
summertime is definitely not going to help in
I
that
agree.
regard.
We did close our pickleball courts for a couple of weeks because they were too popular actually, but we did open those up again late last week, and those are open again, and they've been busy, so that's good. People get their exercise, and as long as they keep their social distancing, it's no problem. We opened up Timber Town again. The playgrounds around town, they're open again, and people just have to realize they aren't going to be sanitized, several times a day, but we will keep them clean. And so, yeah, you just have to, use your brain a little bit, and decide what you think is right for you and your family. But the facilities are there, and I believe the bathrooms were going to open up again this week in our parks. So yeah, things are getting back to normal.
Kevin, since the last time we chatted, the Zeeland City Council approved a new budget for fiscal 2021 that begins at the 1st of July. And as Tim Klender mentioned to us, it's going to be a pretty flexible document. Much of the work was done before the COVID-19 situation hit, but that is certainly going to affect finances, what revenues do come in to the Zeeland coffers. Property taxes obviously is a big factor, but as the budget gets forwarded and being able to get into the new budget year, you and other council members need to, shall we say, be very agile and fast on your feet to adjust to some of the needs that might come up that unfortunately the funds may not be immediately there.
Yeah, fortunately, we had a pretty good fund balance that we could work off of, and that is why we decided to lower the millage by 1 mil. So hopefully people are appreciative of that. And then we also said that the downtown maintenance fee that the store owners usually have to pay, that was waived as well. So we're trying to help as much as possible. So yeah, we probably won't realize the cuts that will be coming until next year. The state, we had Brad Sly in to speak to us at our last council meeting, and he was talking about how much the state is going to be losing in the next few years as far as tax revenue and extra expenses. So yeah, I think we'll probably be getting some cuts from the state with revenue sharing, and but again, I think we're well placed for that in the city of Zeeland, and like you said, we have to be agile, and we have to kind of think on our feet on certain things that we'll be doing in the future, and hopefully the economy starts coming back by next year, and things will look a lot rosier.
With council, with the legislator Sla in, but perhaps some of the council members have. Has Zeeland seen any of the COVID-19 CARES Act money yet? Has that been a factor at all? Because that's a bone of contention with Zeeland Congressman Bill Heisinger, that nearly $4 billion of CARES money that was supposed to be going to local communities in Michigan are not going there right now. He's not happy about it, but has that been a factor at all with some of the discussions that council has had about some of the money, and maybe said that money was supposed to go to community development block grants?
Yeah, we haven't had that discussion. No, Gary, we have not gotten that money, but yeah, that might be coming in the future. But no, we have not had that discussion.
Yeah, I just because the city of Holland last week was discussing community development block grants and having to do some alterations with its block grants because of some of the CARES Act money that's supposed to be coming Holland's way. So I just didn't know whether or not Zeeland had that situation. One other thing, and I want to address with you, Kevin Klynstra. And by the way, if you have a question for Kevin, we still have a couple of minutes at 395-1450, 395-1450. One thing that we normally do when we chat is talk about upcoming events in the city of Zeeland. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has had its effects. How has it affected everything, or are there still a couple of events that are still going on? And I'm thinking specifically about the farmers market, whether or not that was a go as well.
Yeah, actually the farmers market's been a good success, and it used to be by the Rustic store down by Community Restaurant, and it's a private individual actually that's putting it on, and it's just on city property now. But yeah, from what I've been gone the last 2 Saturdays, so I haven't been able to go to it, but it sounds like it's been a real success. The person that's putting it on, she has sold out on what she's put out, and yeah, it's a lot of people have showed up for that.
Yeah, that's going on, but unfortunately, some of the other things that we can look forward to in Zeeland may not go. And I'm thinking the pig out.
Yeah, well, I think that I believe I saw that was canceled. Yet last night we found out that the Sounds of Summer at the city park has been postponed, not canceled. They're putting it off until September, and they're going to see once what that brings, and so hopefully we could have it in September. But the month of July, it will not be happening this year. I believe, like Zeeland Mania, the things that happen on Monday nights, I'm not positive, but it looks like those might be canceled as well. So yeah, it's going to be a different summer, Gary, and I'll miss them. I always enjoyed walking through the Zeeland Mania on Monday nights, and enjoyed the Sounds of Summer in July. So, but hopefully we can still have that.
It's still early for the Pumpkin Fest decision to be made because that, it's October, but if we're looking that far down, we didn't think we were going to have to cancel things in June and July when this all struck us back in March. But, you just don't know.
No, I know. And I'm on the truck parade committee too, as well. And we've have had discussions lately on what we're going to do with that. But so far, it looks like we're going to wait a couple more weeks and see what will be going on, and then we'll make our decision about the truck parade as well.
Yeah, that's that will. Well, the thing about the truck parade itself is socially distanced, but people gathering together, especially at the end at the Civic Center, is going to be something that might be a no-go on Labor Day weekend, but we'll see, as they say, as we go along. More on the city of Zeeland. We'll put a link to the city's webpage. We put this podcast with Kevin Klynstra on our webpage at WHTC.com. It's been a Zoom conversation with Kevin, and that means we are recording it also as a video, and we'll have that on our Facebook page at 99.7 and 1450 WHTC a little bit later on today. Kevin, as always, we appreciate your time to chat with us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town. Wish you and all in Zeeland well over the next month or so, and if all goes well, we will chat in July, and hopefully we'll have more good things to say as we go along.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much. That is Kevin Klynstra of the city of Zeeland as we feel the zeal on WHTC's Talk of the Town. Coming up at CBS News with Steve Kaith, with Deborah Rodriguez, followed by WHTC News with Peg McNichol, and then the Master Gardener, Jane Musin, will be joining us with the Yard and Garden segment from the Brine Seed in Zeeland on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.